home, so let me in.
Okay, sounds great. Hey, welcome everyone. Another episode of the Original Sports Podcast. I'm Mark Maradei. With me today is Coach Kevin Watson, Coach T. Sizz or Terri Young, and Coach Mike Newbizer or Coach Noobs. We're missing our guy, Rasheen. Our best wishes go out to him. He had a little family setback. Prayers and everything to his family. We're thinking about him, and also to our guy Dan Harris, who started the Let's Talk Sports Network. Dan is actually fighting a good fight. He's had cancer for a while, and you're in all our prayers, Dan. Just know that we're thinking about you, and hopefully something comes along that's good for you, my friend. Today's show, everybody, is a week 2 of the NFL season, a cap of the season. We're going to talk a little bit about each game, and there's some questions that are thrown in for each one of these. We're taking a look at some of the issues that may or may not have happened, and what could be the forecast going forward for these teams that are winning and losing. And we're also taking a look at next week's games and seeing who we like for week 3 of the season. So, gentlemen, how's life treating you today? Waddy, I haven't seen you for a little while.
It's going. I haven't quite hit my groove yet in school yet. I'm still trying to find it. I haven't hit it yet. So I'm still working on that.
Yeah. Noobs, how's things with you? How's that new vehicle?
Awesome. It's going well. I actually paid for it today, so that kind of hurt a little bit. But good times, and everything's rolling at Northwest, and we're having fun.
Yeah, it's been a smooth start for us so far. Knock on wood, or whatever this is, fabricated wood, whatever this shit is. But T. Sizz, what's going on at Poolsville?
Oh, it's a real treat being there with all the construction. It's fantastic.
Yeah, everybody's probably wearing masks from all the dust, huh?
It's not dust, that's asbestos.
Oh, gosh.
That's really good for
everybody.
My
gosh.
They put the yellow stickers up. They put the yellow stickers up saying, "Don't disrupt this area." Well, what's back here? I don't know. Don't disrupt it.
Hey, at the end of the day, just think about it. You might have a nice lawsuit. You can be able to retire.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm at Camp Lejeune.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Don't drink the water. Don't drink the water.
Wow.
Hey, what a season so far. Somebody asked Noobs and I today. One of our young bucks who works in the PE office last period of the day. He says, "Who do you think the MVP is?" I said, "MVP." We all looked at him. Myself, Noobs, and Corpus. We're like, MVP. They're 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
How can you even put a finger on that? My comment is they just finished the preseason for the veterans. Honestly, how many of those guys really played a lot of snaps in the 3 preseason games? They just where it used to be those 4 preseason games, the vets got a little bit more play. One of those games they played a half, stuff like that. It's really tailed off. They got a quicker amount of time to basically evaluate who they want to keep on that roster. So, that's impactful. Thoughts from you guys on that?
I know who's going to be the defensive MVP. Number 11 for the Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons. Yeah,
that's who it is.
Not so fast, my friend. I think there's somebody in Pittsburgh on the defensive side making it. I tell you what. Woo!
It'd be a hell of a contest between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
He was possessed.
Hey, a serious note, how old is that boy, Micah Parsons? Is this his 3rd year in the league?
Yes, 3rd year, I believe.
Yeah, so what is he, about 25?
Maybe. He probably came out early.
That's what I was going to say. He's probably 23, 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It will be interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of dynamics. I think in a few more years, Garrett and Bosa and TJ, they'll be down the road, and you'll see Aiden Hutchinson and Micah Parsons. That'll be your guy. I do like watching Parsons play. He is explosive, like like TJ Watt. He very, very much so. No question about it. I saw him make a play on Sunday that was just phenomenal. Like nobody even touched him. He was so explosive through the line. So that was pretty cool to watch. And, I know our guy, Jay Colbert, is watching us today. He keeps hitting me up in the chat. Not a Cowboy fan, but not a Cowboy hater. I respect all football players, and I do think that he is a hell of an anchor for a defense. So, hey, let's get into this a little bit. Eagles 34, Vikings 28. What's different about the Vikings this year, right out of the gate? What's different for them this year?
They're 0-2, right? That's the difference.
Yes, which is a surprise that they are 0-2 at this point.
Right.
I did not see that coming. I can say that. I didn't see it coming.
I think it's their defense, though, because Kirk Cousins he's on pace to throw for 6,000 yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's had over 300 the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
It will be interesting to see how that plays itself out. And losing Delvin Cook, that really hasn't been that impactful because the Vikings are scoring points, but they play the Eagles.
I think that's the theme there. That's been not just this year. That's been the last couple years. They're putting up numbers offensively, but defensively, they are losing games by 1 score or less, or 1 score.
Yeah. And they're losing those games because they have no running game whatsoever. They don't even try. It's like they don't try to run the ball. And I noticed that starting last year, they kind of cut back on the running. Remember before Cook was getting 25 carries a game.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden last year that kind of disappeared. And the next thing you know, he's out the door and they bring in somebody else.
Well, I can tell you Madison is the guy, Mattison. He's the guy there because I have him on a couple of fantasy football leagues. I was doing some preseason reading about him. I like him. He's getting, 18 points, something like that a game. But you're right, Kevin. His carries have been cut down. He catches balls out of the backfield.
Yeah. 9 for 28. 9 carries, 28 yards.
Crazy.
You ain't going to win no games like that.
No, because they can't control the ball. Imagine if they could have kept Philly off the field for 5-6 extra minutes.
Yeah.
It would have been so different for them. I mean, it was 34-28. That was the final score. That's a touchdown and an extra point, and the Vikings win. So can the Eagles maintain this role? Would it be the same if Hurts went down? Do they have that? Gardner Minshew was there last year. In my opinion, he is one of the best backups in football right now, undoubtedly. But at this juncture, if Hurts goes down, can they still? Because Mariota's the backup there now. Can they still continue at this pace? I
think they got enough. Especially they have enough weapons. And if Mariota, let's say, he does have to go into the game, I think they're just going to ask him to kind of let's maintain this thing. Don't mess it up, And the defense is good, so if he has to enter the game, you just want him to maintain. You also have to remember too, the Eagles have a new offensive coordinator this year, so they're still trying to fix those things too.
Figure it out along the way.
Yeah.
The other piece Kevin mentioned. New offense coordinator, figuring the pieces out along the way. A.J. Brown threw a little fit on the sidelines because he's not getting enough targets. Is that going to be a cancer to them?
Throw me the damn ball.
Well, he's on my fantasy team, so I back him up on that. They need to throw him the ball more.
Mike, you should maybe sit down and talk with the OC there and talk with Hurts. That might help him.
Yeah, we need to have a conversation.
My guess is he's probably getting double teamed too. I would, and
force Devontae Smith to make the plays. But you know what, man? This is gonna be my guy for the week. But I'll say it now, DeAndre Swift has been fantastic there. I still, it baffles me just a little bit why Detroit was letting him walk away, because Detroit's system, and other than Goff not being able to run, but their basic offensive system and the system they ran in Philadelphia they're very similar in nature. Miles Sanders, when he was in Philly, same type of back as DeAndre Swift.
Not wanting to pay the money.
Yeah. At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And Sanders actually, for as crappy as Carolina is. He really isn't doing a bad job there. I feel like he's giving them something. His hang up will be if he gets hurt along the way. Yeah. So, all right, let's move into this Falcons-Packers game. Desmond Ridder looks pretty good, guys. I wasn't sure how he was going to look for them, but he's done pretty well. But the Falcons' defense has really been pretty studly for them, to be honest with you, which is very shocking to me. I wasn't expecting that from an Arthur Smith defense. And they also have that two-headed monster, but they've kind of dialed back Algier this week, and they really stuck it to Bijan, and Bijan responded.
Yes. Definitely the rookie running back is legit. And if I remember a conversation that we had a while ago when we were talking draft picks, I can't quite remember, but I think I said dude was going to be good.
Yeah, you did.
Pretty good.
You did.
I think it was Rasheen saying we shouldn't draft a running back that early, right? And K-Watt, it was you and me saying that we love that kid.
Absolutely. Yep.
And after past weekend, I love him now. I mean, he's legit. Get over 120. Yeah.
Nine. I think it was 9 forced missed tackles or something like that. 9 missed tackles that he forced.
Yeah. And he's big.
Yeah.
I like what you expect out of Najee.
Yeah. Well, when we get there, we'll talk run scheme, because I think a big part of the problem is run scheme there, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This game's kind of a shocker, though, isn't it? Like Falcons beating the Packers. Like I think of it like
25-24.
Preseason, if someone said, "All right, Falcons Packers, who's going to win?" I mean, you'd say Packers by 7, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I didn't know enough about the Jordan Love kid, and I don't know. I don't know where. I don't know. I don't know enough. I haven't really seen enough, So I still put a question mark behind him.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of the Packers, though, keep in mind that they were playing without several of their big name players. They're playing without RB1. They're playing without Christian Watson. They're playing without was Bakhtari. Is that how you pronounce his name? The offensive lineman. They were playing without several pieces. And I don't think Jordan Love has thrown an interception yet. Am I correct?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he has not thrown an interception yet. So, from that perspective, he is doing some good things there. I don't know if he learned from Aaron Rodgers, but he's doing what they need him to do thus far. If they get healthy, they'll make it a push in that NFC Central, or is it Central or North for those guys? I can't remember.
South. No, North. North.
They're North, yeah. So let's move into the Colts and Texans. Colts 31, Texans 20. Richardson continues to play at a pretty high level. I don't think he's gonna play this week, though, because of his concussion issues. We were talking about that today. Minshew steps in for him. Zach Moss had himself a decent week, almost 90 yards rushing. Let's talk about the Colts first. What do you think about that?
I'm actually shocked, to be honest with you. If you would have said, as far as the way they've come out the last 2 games, I wouldn't have predicted it. I thought they would have tanked myself personally. I didn't see it. Yeah.
I was.
I think
I'm not going to lie to you. I was.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead. You're good. I'll catch up after.
I was going to say, for me, I wasn't a big Richardson guy coming out of college. I just wasn't. He had a 50% completion pass rating. He was a stud at the combine. I would have never taken a flyer on him unless I had a veteran there that would help him age along. They don't have a veteran there to help him age along, and he really has done an excellent job, in my opinion, thus far. Now, he took that hit last week. I'm trying to think who they played. Did they play Jacksonville last week?
Who's that?
The Colts?
Indianapolis.
No, was it the Colts?
Well, whoever they played had a veteran a younger veteran quarterback. and the quarterback went up to him after the game and he said, you're doing great. You look fantastic, but let me tell you, you got to be careful running that ball all the time and putting yourself out there like that. And I said to that same kid today, who's a Ravens fan, I said, it's going to be an interesting game this week between Lamar Jackson and Anthony Richardson, who's going to rush for the most yards between those two, because they're kind of a carbon copy from a lot of perspectives. Although Richardson does remind me more of Cam. When Cam played, he still has that run ability like Lamar has.
They played Jacksonville, Mark.
Okay, Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. And Trevor Lawrence, I read a quote, and Trevor Lawrence literally went up to him and said, you look fantastic, but you better be careful running the ball, putting yourself out there like that. It's just
and Minshew came in for him, right?
Yeah,
they end up pulling off the victory. I was trying to think where Minshew. You mentioned Minshew earlier. That's where he went, Indianapolis.
Yep, exactly. Hey, this week C.J. Stroud continued to flourish. Another strong performance. Still no interceptions from C.J. Stroud, but he needs some help. Dameon Pierce is not doing what he did last year as a rookie. They're going to need that for Stroud to continue to develop. That Houston team is going to be okay, I think, down the road under DeMeco Ryans. I really do. But Stroud looks good, and I said this when we were talking about this pre-draft. I like Stroud much better than I like Bryce Young. He's bigger, and he may be the first Ohio State quarterback that actually has a pretty successful career. Yeah, Tank Dell too. Jay said, I like Tank Dell from Houston. Absolutely. They just got Michi back as well. Mm-hmm. They've got some pieces there.
Nico Collins is solid too.
Absolutely. I forget who I read they comparing him to. I just read it today. But what do you guys think about Stroud?
I've been impressed, actually, especially for a rookie and, Ohio State quarterback, because, as I've said before, I had big questions on him. And for him, I think he's just got to make sure, you're not turning the ball over, putting the defense in bad spots, knowing when to throw things away, and, letting the defense kind of take the lead as far as, the team itself, and then playing off of that. And I think they're going to be fine. They're definitely a competitive team. And I basically contribute that to Ryans, DeMarco Ryans, the head guy. I mean, they play hard. They're not going to quit. So, that's one step,
that was his playing style.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What I have a question. Who would you take, him or Fields?
I'd take Stroud.
Yeah. I think Fields, he's not making any ground there. I don't see
We're going to get to that too, but I agree. I'd take Stroud over Fields.
And he's putting them in a good position.
Yeah.
They're 0-2, but that's beside the point. Like you said, no interceptions. He's not flashy right now. He's doing what he needs to do to put the team in position.
He threw for 384 yards.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The thing about that, though, I didn't watch the game. Were they down? They're throwing it 85 times. One of those.
I don't know. But he's a rookie and he did it, though. That's impressive.
Right.
Yeah,
I know some second-year quarterbacks ain't done that yet.
Who's that? I don't even want to talk about that. Let's move into this Seahawks-Lions game. I watched some of that. Geno led this team to a victory, but I'm not sold on him as a long-term solution there. He's 32 years old already, and they gave him a 3-year deal. He still makes a lot of mistakes. I see him still make a lot of mistakes, which is why it took him till he was 31 to get a starting role. Do they think this guy's going to be around for a few more years, pass on him, pass on any good quarterbacks, and just stick with Geno, see if they can build, then go for a quarterback? What do you guys think?
They give him a 3-year contract, they must.
Yeah, but if it depends where they are in the draft and who's available. There are a buttload of quarterbacks in this draft.
Yes.
Like really good ones.
Yeah.
So, there could be 5 or 6 guys in the first round this year.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if Pittsburgh took. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Seattle took one. It just wouldn't. No, that being said, what kind of style you looking for? Because there's a variety of styles.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just. Bo Nix has been around since about 1987 playing. I just feel like he's been around forever. He started Auburn.
Yeah, he's played like I think 7 years in college. It's like, what in the world?
Yeah, he should at least be getting
Did
some
you
good
see that
NIL money.
punter? I can't remember what team he was for.
Virginia.
They said 30 years old from Australia.
Yeah.
No. Oh, wait. Oh, no. UVA has a kid from Northwest. He played soccer at Northwest. He's 30. I thought he was like 37 or something.
There's
36.
A dude who was
Northwest?
Yeah, he played soccer at Northwest. He's this punter at or kicker. He's the place kicker at UVA.
Northwest? How the hell are you playing college at 37?
I think
something like that.
Didn't he go into the military or something like that? And then he got out of the military, and you can go to college and still play. Sometimes a 34-year-old might not want to do that, but if you're a kicker, it's okay.
But he never kicked in high school, and he saw it, and he kind of liked the idea of kicking just for fun. So he learned how to do it. He kind of thought of it like golf almost. So he just started doing it and got better and better at it and kept working. But he watched YouTube videos and just self-taught.
Hey, I played in the staff kickball game. My hammies were sore for a couple of days. Doing that shit at 37? Yeah, that ain't crazy.
He went to our Northwest.
Yes.
Did you know him?
Yeah. No. Kirk B sent me the article. It is an incredible article. It is the craziest story ever.
That's wild.
That's not the craziest
military
Northwest.
Well,
no, it's
true.
not. It's not.
Sure.
Yeah. But she did pay her way through college, didn't she? Anyway, I got to tell you, the Lions did disappoint me at the end of the day. I know they put 31 up on the board. They had so much firepower in that team. I thought they should have got beyond that. Do those guys really believe they're as good as they potentially can be? Does that team, does Campbell have them really believing they're as good as they potentially can be? That's my question.
I think defensively they're short a few guys.
Yes, they are.
Secondary.
Mm-hmm. And I would say also up front, you got Hutchinson, and then who else? You put a good double team on him, and who are you worried about? So he needs somebody to help him. He needs a complementary piece.
Yeah, really, all they have in the secondary is Slay that stands out, right?
They got the other dude. They got the other dude from Pittsburgh.
Cam Sutton? Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, they were willing to pay him the money, and I don't blame them for going. They called him before he even, the thing started and said, hey, we're bringing you in. You do what you got to do is what I felt about that. It's a dog-eat-dog business, right?
Yeah.
Young, I know you got something to add to that.
Dog eat dog. Hey, this dog got eaten.
Oh,
we got to get into the Young story in a little while.
Listen, if they don't go in, that guy, he has me run through a brick wall. Maybe I ran into some Friday, but if they don't go into that game, with that mindset, right? They're just going to be the Lions, like Browns be the Browns.
Yeah.
So he's changing that culture. He's changing the mindset. I'm on board. I might start rooting for the Lions.
I do like the Lions.
I like
Campbell.
The mentality. I like the mentality.
If he could get his freaking jaw to unhinge like Cowher used to, I'd be all in on that. Because that's who he reminds me of, the way he delivers himself, that passion. Hey, Rasheen, what's up? Rasheen just hit us up. He said, hey, guys.
The dream.
Yes, sir. Let's move on to Titans and Chargers, guys. Mike, I know you used to be a Chargers fan, but you've migrated back over to the Commandos. Titans.
I still root for them. Yeah, I still root for them.
I got to be honest with you. I was a little shocked that Titans knocked them off.
I was really
shocked. It just
shocked.
didn't seem right. I don't know. What's missing here? What's going on with them?
It's their defense.
Yeah.
Their defense is a mess. I don't know. I watched the Miami game, and I didn't watch this one, but the Miami game, it was insane how open Tyreek Hill was the entire day. They could do nothing to cover him. And you're like, well, maybe he's just that good. But then he plays the Patriots. Miami plays the Patriots. We're going to talk about shortly. But a rookie, right, with a kid from Oregon, what's his name?
Gonzalez
is able to cover him all over the field. And he barely gave up 1 or 2 receptions. And so you're like, well, are they that bad? And it's got to be a schematic thing. They were in man like 90% of the time. So I blame it on the coaching. I think defensively they have players, really, really good players, but they're not. I don't know. They're not successful. Like they're not getting stops. They're not getting pressure. It's a bad situation.
Rasheen said he thinks the Pats took away the deep pass.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and that's part of their. They had safeties about 20 yards back.
Yeah,
I also I think that's another change. We talked about that. I don't think the deep passes is prominent. It's like, oh, go deep. And I'm not saying it's dink and dunk either, but it's not as prevalent as like what it used to be, you know. And they move the chains. That's object
pretty much how they approach it now. But
and another reason why I say that is
yards at a clip.
Another reason I say that is if you look at the release time of these quarterbacks, it's getting quicker.
For what quarterback?
So they're having less time. They're not going downfield as much because their release time is quicker.
Mm-hmm. You think that's probably schemed into their offensive coordinator probably set that up, you think, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just checking.
A good offensive coordinator is going to do that. Exactly.
Yes.
And then the guy who coaches the line and his assistant makes sure they can hold that block significantly for that 3 seconds or less.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yes. Makes sense to me.
I kind of feel like in some ways Herbert's part of that Chargers curse at quarterback. Like he may never get to the promised land, even though he has all the tools, even though they got a great receiving core, even though Eckler's a hell of a back. If you take that Chargers defense and that Steelers offense and put them together, you know what you have?
A college team.
You have
one in 3 team,
an AIA team. It's just bad.
Gosh.
I just it's insane to me. It's just insane to me if you would put those two things together. I don't even know if they could beat like Frostburg or some shit. I'm serious, man. Those two teams merge. With the Titans though too. I mean, Derrick Henry just doesn't seem to be the same guy. He took all those hits, had all those carries. He's not the same guy. He's older now. They don't give him a lot of rest. They just want to feed. And then Tannehill is Tannehill. We looked it up a couple weeks ago. Tannehill has had 10 years in the league. And a serviceable 10 years, but they've got 2 guys on that roster that they've drafted the last 2 years. Yeah, is Vrabel going to ever make it
12 years?
12 years. Okay. Is Vrabel ever going to pull the plug on Tannehill and go with youth?
No. I mean, right now Tannehill's doing exactly what he wants, and until that breaks, he's definitely not going to, and think of it. He's got a Belichick mind. For him, it's, I'm going to try to play this thing as conservative as I can on offense, and I'm going to try to win it with my defense. And that's how he plays.
But here's the thing. He's not Belichick. He doesn't have a winning track record down there. They may pull the plug on him before he pulls the plug on the quarterback.
That's true. Rasheen said he thinks that in terms of Henry, he said they plan for that because there's nothing else. And Jay hit us back with Ty Spears is getting some carries there, a few more carries than we may see or hear. But they've got, what do they got? D-Hop, they've got Braylon. I mean, they should be a little bit better than what they are, even though they won this week. It's hard to understand what's going there. And just a couple of years ago, they were like pretty damn dominant. You know, they had a hell of a defense, and they were pretty damn dominant. They controlled the ball. They did what a good Belichick type team would do, except they didn't have a Brady like quarterback. That's all.
And I still think they got a pretty good defense. Their front seven is pretty good. So I think they got and I think that's how he wants to win. I mean, he's a defensive guy himself, so you know that mentality is totally different than an offensive minded guy. You know.
Yep.
So
like you would want to win with defense, you and Newbauser,
absolutely.
And I'd want to come out and fucking sling the rock 100 times.
See,
I'd be scheming the shit out of that defense. I'd get you moving. So, Traylon Burks, thanks, Jay. How's
he doing this year, Traylon Burks? What are his stats look like?
You got the stats in front of you, boys. I'll let you handle that.
He's a wide receiver.
He was their number one last year.
Traylon Burks. He was. I just was interested in it because of the draft last year.
He has 5
He was interesting.
for 94 yards.
Okay, so he really has a game's worth of play in 2 games, and that's not all that, to be honest with you. So hey, Josh Allen potentially came alive. He woke up this week. The Bills beat the Raiders pretty handedly, 38-10. Waiting for Diggs to go do Diggs things, to be quite honest with you. But even with the win, are they impressive? Like, is this Bills team going to be the same Bills team we've seen the last couple of years?
No, I don't think so. I think there's something. I still think there's something not right. I mean, I don't know how good Vegas it really is, to be honest with you. So I got to put a question mark. Yeah, they won 38-10, which is good. That's what you're supposed to do. But I still say, what's going to happen when you go against KC? What's going to happen, let's say even Baltimore at this point? And then, shoot, I want to see what you do next week when you go down to play the Commanders. I want to see what you do then, because they got pretty good defense. So let's see what happens. You know, well, then we'll know if you're back on track or not.
Jay shared with us that there's something going on with Diggs. Maybe he's going to get moved again.
He might.
Wow.
Maybe he get moved again. You know, I don't know. He had that thing come out. What was it, last week or the week before, where the female reporter talked about it, and then he talked about how he got all up in his feelings, saying that's not true, blah 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 blah. But nobody defended him. Nobody supported her, but nobody defended him either. So it was kind of a he said, she said type of thing. And, we really don't know. We're not in that locker room. We don't hang out with them. I'm not a big fan of his as far as that goes. Yeah, Jay, you're right. Hot mess is absolutely correct.
Yeah, he has that AB. He has a little bit of AB vibe on him, you know? It's a little bit of that vibe that he probably doesn't want to have.
Watson, he got that Germantown swagger to him.
I mean, this game was a nice coming out for them. But, they lost to the Jets. Jets has a great defense, and Raiders took it a little easy on him. So he had that time to pass. They weren't blitz heavy like the Jets. They didn't cover as well.
You want to hear something funny about the Raiders? They're 1-1 and tied for first place with Kansas City. Mm-hmm. And Garoppolo was the answer to Derek Carr, who's actually doing pretty damn good down in New Orleans. So there was some sort of disconnect there. Josh Jacobs needs to be the bell cow for them to run, though. You guys know that, and their running game really isn't on par just yet. So Josh McDaniel, not my favorite head coach. Actually, not my favorite anything, to be honest with you. Raiders, thoughts?
I think they're a hot mess too. I just think that the organization, I don't know what do they want to be? What do they want to do? I don't think they know. There's no identity. There's nothing. Do you want to run the ball? Do you want to throw the ball? Do you want a new quarterback? Do you want an old quarterback? What do you want? I don't think they know. I really don't.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
I disagree with getting rid of Carr. I don't know how you can find anyone better than him with where they were at. They didn't have it wasn't like they were drafting early, or you know what I mean? Like I just think that was stupid to get rid of him. He's a good quarterback.
It just always seems like the grass is always greener for them. They're all like,
yes,
like you said, Coach. It just do I want this? I want that. And they see something over there. I'm going to go for that and just abandon everything that we just worked hard on putting together. It's just weird.
Who's the receiver from Maryland that plays for the Steelers right now that they took as the number 1 draft pick? He was their number 1. I'm trying to think. Miles Boykin. Right? Wasn't he a number 1 for them? Am I
No, he was with
somebody else?
Yeah, he was with the Ravens.
Okay, all right. But the Raiders took a receiver one year that was just lights out fast because L. Davis wanted somebody who could run like hell. You know,
he was a special. Well, ended up being a special teams guy for us, really.
Right.
I know you're talking about.
Well,
I know
you know, Jay poses this question up to the crew. How do you feel about Devontae Adams wanting to play there? He's probably going to get a little tired of that crap though after a while.
I think he went there because of Carr.
Well, they were homies. They played at Fresno State together. Sure.
He got a lot of money too. I mean,
he did.
I mean, ultimately, you can say that it's to play with this guy, but they got to talk. It's got to be the money.
Do you think that there's 2 kind of players? Actually, I'm going to say 3 kind of players, man. There's the player who wants to be paid and he doesn't give a shit about winning. There is a player who wants to be paid sort of, but he really cares about being on a competitive team and winning and having a shot at a ring. And then there's the guy who gets paid, and then as his career tails off, he doesn't mind taking a lower amount to stick around, play moderate reps, being a leader in the clubhouse, bringing guys along and getting himself a potential ring. I mean, where does a guy like Devontae Adams fall in there right now?
I think what you kind of described there is looking at the age of a player and the success of a player as they move through or move up the ladder in age. You know, because as the older you get, and you know your years are numbered, well, now it's about winning that Super Bowl. I think right now he's probably in the middle. I think he's probably on the fence of trying to decide, okay, do I really want to get paid or do I want to go to a contender? He's probably in the middle, if I had to take a guess.
Is Mark, you were going to be there? Go ahead, Mike.
You were talking about Darius Hayward-Bay. I just looked it up.
Yes, that's who it is.
Darius Hayward-Bay. I knew it was a Maryland guy. Yeah. Darius Hayward-Bay, because he played for the Steelers too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that. Pretty good memory. Not completely good, but pretty good. You know, I watched this game. I watched the Chiefs and the Jags. I was kind of bored. It wasn't very good. The Chiefs are definitely missing receivers, guys. Unquestionably.
It's their own fault.
Yeah.
You know, think about it. They let all these guys go, and then you're depending on, you know, some of these other guys that haven't done anything. Well, that's kind of what you get. And then also Travis Kelce he's not 100%, and I don't know if he will be all year long.
Right.
So they could be in trouble.
And they restructured Mahomes' contract.
They did it after they couldn't win the first week. They restructured his contract to free up money. They cut the amount of years down, which, you know, they figured, well, we'll cut down the amount of years because if in 3 years he's not the same Patrick Mahomes, we can move on from him. I mean, there's a whole lot of factors that went into play with that.
Yes, in the long term, but when you do the math, I think he's making like $8 million more a year.
He is, but it's worth it to pay him right now, and maybe they can give some ghost years on at the end of it if they need to go out and spend some money now. They learned their lesson, hopefully, by letting Tyreek Hill walk. I don't care about Juju. Juju can walk wherever he wants to. He can go walk to the 50-yard line and do his little TikTok shit, whatever he wants to do. But, you know, they let Tyreek Hill walk, and look at what he did for Miami.
I think that was idiotic of them. That was just stupid of them.
To let him go?
Yeah.
They got so much for him. I don't know. I thought it was
they did get a
move.
They did get a shit ton, but, you know, to me, we'll see what happens when. Well, we'll see what happens when these draft picks come around. They got 3 number 1s, right?
They won the Super Bowl last year.
But when Miami, but I'm talking about, you know, Miami gave Kansas City 3 number 1s.
Right.
do you think that's in the back of Kansas City's head too, in terms of what they did with Mahomes? Well, if he shows any kind of signs here, maybe we'll get a backup that, who knows what they're thinking there. But for them to restructure that, I'll tell you what.
How did it affect their salary cap for this year?
Not really. He's still getting a fat paycheck. But long term,
did it open money up for this year?
Because they had to get the DN, they had to free up money or the D tackle, didn't they?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
They did.
Okay.
They did, but they only signed him to a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that in mind.
How are you thinking about another quarterback when he's 28? He's played 7 years, won 2 Super Bowls. They're not thinking about no new quarterback.
No.
I'm thinking about Evans down there in Tampa Bay. They need a receiver.
Okay. Well,
That's why I was asking about the money.
So do you
thing.
trade a 1 for Evans? How old is Evans?
No,
He's 30 years
you
old.
can get him on the cheap.
If Diggs wants out, is he going to Kansas City?
Ooh, that would be scary.
That's what I'm saying. So that's like some of these guys that did they open up money for those type of things right there to happen? I could see that in a minute. Kansas City doing something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
Absolutely.
How scary would that be?
that'd be
Well,
sick.
before they dip their toes in the water to that, I think they're going to give like Kadarius Toney a chance. He had 5 catches on Sunday now.
Done with him.
You guys could you could say what you want, but he was the number 1 pick for the Giants last year. I think
the Giants let him go for a reason.
Look, he's a cancer. I believe he's a cancer, but he's still a gifted cancer. He had 5 catches, only 39 yards, but he had 5 targets too.
And he'll be hurt next week.
Maybe.
I was gonna say what's impressive is them holding the Jags to 9 points. The Jaguars are a very good offense.
Yeah.
They got some weapons. Calvin Ridley's been a stud the first 2 weeks. Like he's a top 10 receiver.
It's killed Christian Kirk, who they gave all that money to, but would you rather be paying putting Kirk on the field or putting Ridley on the field? You're right, Mike. I was very impressed with what he looked like after taking a year off the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not an unwarranted year, but a year.
Yeah, not on his. Time.
Yeah.
If you were to make a prediction, will Kansas City be there in the end? Will they be in the AFC Championship? Will they make it back to the Super Bowl? Or all the things that are going on right now, is this going to hurt them?
I say if they stay healthy, they'll be in the AFC Championship, and that game is probably a toss-up.
Okay,
in my mind.
Yeah, and Jay said he still needs to see more of Trevor Lawrence. But Jay, keep in mind this: Trevor Lawrence has started 25 games in the NFL now, and he is showing progressive growth after the first dozen or so games or even 15 games. He really didn't show a whole lot. He also had a horrible head coach to start with, and now he's got some things in place to help him along the way. He's got his running back, who I'm still waiting to hear more about, Travis Etienne. We're not getting much. We got more out of his brother at Florida last weekend than we're getting out of him. So we'll see. Ravens, Bengals. Bengals 0-2, guys. 0-2. Yes. Ravens won 27-24. Yes. I personally look, I think Burrow should have sat out. He does have pieces, Jay. You're right. But I think Burrow should still be sitting out till about week 4 or 5, maybe even their bye week. Get somebody in there who can manage it. Go 500 until then at the worst. I mean, they look bad. They look awful.
Yeah, they did. They look bad on offense. They look bad on defense.
Do you know that they didn't score a touchdown till like their 21st, 22nd, 23rd drive. And that didn't happen until the end of the third quarter of this game. And that's just not what we're used to seeing over the past couple of years with them. They look blah.
Mm-hmm. The Bengals have given up on 77 carries. They've given up 384 yards of rushing.
Damn, imagine if you were in their division, you had a good running back.
You'd have to have an offensive line, though.
This is true. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And those guys are all going to want paid. T. Higgins is going to want paid.
Yes.
Jamar Chase is going to want paid. He's going to want paid. Is Mixon still the guy in that backfield? I mean, they let Perrine walk to Denver, and he was really strong for them as a number 2. I don't know.
I think the offense eventually will be fine. I think once Burrow's healthy, I think all of that will be fine. I think they need to go to that defense side of the ball, and they got to figure that out because that is bad over there. So that's, I think, is going to be their Achilles heel. It's going to be their defense if they don't get it fixed. Then the problem with that is you now got to pay all these guys on the offensive side of the ball. So what does that leave you for the defensive side of the ball? Nothing. So you got to find guys on the cheap.
What's going to be interesting to me is with the Ravens, how's that run game going to be affected again with J.K. Dobbins out another season? He ain't coming back. He's gone for another season. They just signed did they sign? Yeah, they signed Melvin Gordon. Kareem Hunt got signed today to Cleveland. But it's going to be interesting because eventually Lamar has got to throw the ball successfully and take some wear and tear off of his body.
237 yards he threw for.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he rushed for another 57.
Joey Hooks jumped in. Hey, Joey, what's up, my man? I do believe in Gus. I think Gus is better than J.K. Dobbins. I like Gus's style of running. It'll be interesting to see. How that works, though. He's got to find those receivers. I saw today OBJ. He went out with an ankle injury, and so he's already questionable. Here's a guy they bring in to give him a little something. He did have catches on Sunday, but now he's dinged up already. Plus the Kim Kardashian thing going on with OBJ. Oh, they brought him back already? Yeah, but the Kim Kardashian thing going on with him, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens there.
She just let these guys ball. Oh my God! Wait till the off season. I'm tired of these Kardashians.
Yeah, I know they're always messing with everybody. Is that where Nelson Aguilar with them? Who's with them?
Yes,
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So, and Joey said, Aguilar. Yeah, that is a nice pickup. He's definitely a strong number 2. Very strong number 2.
He had 63 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a strong 2. They just, and Andrews is not, to be honest with you, Andrews is not up to speed just yet, and he will be. That's Zay is number 2, yeah, but I Zay's going to come along and end up being number 1, to be honest with me.
But he's their trick guy. He's like their slot and runs all the trick stuff.
Yeah, but he's going to be more like a Tyreek. I know he's. Yeah, I just think that's what's going to inevitably happen. It's just that's where they're headed.
Yeah,
the thing is to get Lamar to get the ball to all those guys and to take some wear and tear off of his legs. That's what's got to happen here. So, Coach, why would you ever give up on Baker Mayfield, guys? Baker Mayfield won again. They're 2-0. He's 2-0 with the Bucs. He had a decent run when he went to the Rams last year. The Bucs beat the Bears in woeful Justin Field 27-17, which was really interesting to me.
Who they beat the week before?
Who play?
The Bucs. Who did they play last week? Not the Bears, but before the Bears.
The Bucs are 2-0.
I know. That. Who did they beat?
They beat Minnesota 20-17.
Okay. Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But Mayfield's doing what he came out of college to do in Cleveland, and he started doing it. Hook said, "Make sure we have him on after the Ravens beat the Steelers." We'll give it a thought. Yeah. We'll give it a How about we might have a little bet there, Joey. We might have to put some Hennessy or something on that.
480 Club T-shirts.
Or some Scotty's vodka, huh, Young? What I was saying is,
hey, I'm so deep watching. You can't say that. Vodka.
As far as I'm concerned, the diapers, please. Joey's got that baby at home. He's finding out
that's
what it's
hilarious.
all about.
Some formula. We'll bet on some formula.
He's finding out what it's all about. But what I was saying is, Mayfield never really like Cleveland. This freaking guy takes him to the playoffs. He beats Pittsburgh. He wins a playoff game in Pittsburgh, right? And what happens to him? They cut his shit loose the next year, and then they go sign.
No. He asked to be cut. He wanted traded. He wanted out.
Yeah, because they signed Deshaun Watson.
Before they were, it must have been, he must have got wind of it, but he asked before they signed him.
Yeah. I know.
They kicked him out for the moment. They kicked him out.
Hey, look, if Mayfield continues playing like this, he's not going to be an all-world beater, but he's going to be a guy who's like a Derek Carr type of guy in my eyes. He's not a world beater, but he can win games with the pieces around him. He's going to use the pieces around him. Plus, I think he's getting better coaching in Tampa.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, he's getting better coaching.
Definitely getting better coaching. There's no question about it. And then also the fact that he's playing in the NFC South, I think that also helps him out a little bit. You're coming from the AFC North football, going to the NFC South football. I don't even think those two conferences even compare.
But really, the team that's going to really feel it is going to be, to be honest with you, the team that's really going to feel it is going to be Carolina, because we see what Houston's doing under Stroud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you see what there's just some pieces of the puzzle together there New Orleans. New Orleans is coming together. Under Derek Carr. I mean, that division is going to be a little tighter this year. Atlanta, we saw what Atlanta's doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what K Watt's saying though, they do have the easiest schedule. That conference has the easiest schedule this year.
Yeah. Pound for pound, right there.
Yeah, it'll help make him look good.
Yes, it's a big difference. Makes a big difference who you play.
Yes.
I obviously don't
think about the defenses you have to go against in the AFC North.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah.
Whoo.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I don't want to talk much about Justin Fields. I'm not a Justin Fields believer. The media wanted us to buy into him going into this year. They got him a receiver in DJ Moore. They brought in a running back for him. They gave the guy pieces of the puzzle, and he's still not producing. And who doesn't produce there either? Chase Claypool.
Well, he was in the doghouse.
The Steelers stole a number one from Chicago from that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Yeah. We backed the truck up, put a mask on, ran out.
I think what's going to happen with Justin Fields is he's going to get numbers, but they're going to be so far buried by midseason that his numbers are going to accumulate once they're getting behind in games and he's running the ball and throwing because people are in prevent.
Who is the Bears backup?
Tyson Bagent.
Okay.
Nathan Peterman.
Oh, don't be shocked.
Oh, Bagent from Bagent.
Don't be shocked if he's Shepard. Don't be shocked if he starts around week 6, 7, 8. If the Bears are, headed in the wrong direction, I won't be shocked.
Waddy, don't you have Justin Fields on your podcast fantasy team?
He's on the bench.
Oh, okay. Just make it sure.
He's got the headsets on.
All right. He's on the bench.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Hey, Ian from Australia gave us a shout out. What's going on, Ian? Thanks for jumping on the show with us. We appreciate you joining us today. We're just going through some football stuff. Let's move into the Niners and Packers. Hey, let me just tell you this, guys. The Niners defense, definitely for real, okay? But they still gave up 23 points in a victory over the Rams. They scored 30-23. Brock Purdy did not look like Brock Purdy looked against the Steelers in their secondary that plays off 40 yards per snap. It was a different game from that perspective. I still think that San Francisco played, let's just say, over their heads against Pittsburgh. They came in, they played well, but they played over their heads. I
think the Rams are better than what we think.
Probably.
I really do. I don't want to underestimate, just because they lost this person, that person, and if they get healthy, I think they could be dangerous. It's one of those ones you better keep your eye out, because I think they're better than what we actually think they are. Keep an eye on them.
Hey, look, it's not really my problem because I'm in the East and I play in the North. You know what I mean? Like, that's my squad.
Yeah.
That's who I root for.
Oh yeah.
They do have some good guys. Hey, let's talk about this guy though from the Rams, because there's not much to talk about with the Niners. We know what they're all about the first 2 weeks with a 2-0 record. But Puka Nacua, he has, check this out, 225 catches, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 2 games. He came from where, Mike? Where do we look? Where do we find he came from?
Pikachu? This is Pokemon.
Tutu Atwell's legit too.
I knew you were going to ask me. Hold on.
Gotta catch them all.
We talked about it. Was it Iowa State or
BYU.
like that?
He's from BYU.
Yeah, we looked that up. We're like, what the hell? And you know, the funny thing is, I grabbed him in 2 leagues because I needed somebody, and I saw him as a receiver who could be a surprise guy. And guess what? I'm cashing in. But Jay said Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell is playing well, and I see him out on the waiver wire.
Yes.
So just a little bit of information for anybody out there who might be looking for. They might be looking for a receiver for their fantasy team, Tutu Atwell. I would not be surprised if these guys put together a season and they try and move on from Cooper Kupp, because that's money, and that team is hurting for money.
He don't play.
He
doesn't play.
He's banged up.
Stafford still got it in him. Stafford still gonna be able to hang.
Yeah,
Stafford's doing well.
Yeah,
He's doing well. He's aged well. He has aged well. I will say that about Stafford. I like Stafford. You know, Cam Akers not going to be there much longer, though, is he?
No, he's on the move.
Like it.
Yeah, I heard somebody today mention Akers. Maybe who did they say? The Ravens taking the Ravens taking a flyer on him. Maybe because you don't know if J.K. Dobbins will be back. You know, this is 3 years in a row that J.K. has gone down, and you can't have a guy like that again. That's part of the reason Lamar runs the damn ball so much and they have a high rushing total, is because he's trying to make up for losing the running backs. Last year, would they lose their top 3, right?
Yeah.
They lost Edwards, they lost Dobbins, and they brought in somebody else. It ended up being like Melvin Gordon carrying the rock for them, who, by the way, they did re-sign Melvin Gordon as a slot for them. So that's kind of interesting to me. All right. Giants and Cardinals. Hey, look, check this out. I wrote this down. How pissed would the Cardinals have been if they had not given the game away to the Giants? Seriously, they cannot afford to win. They want Caleb Williams. Question, will Caleb Williams want the Cardinals? All right. You know
what, though? That's 2 weeks in a row they've kind of lost it at the end of the game, per se.
They're feisty.
Yes.
They're feisty.
So I will say that. They haven't given up, and I don't think they will. I think the microscope is on them. I think the league's going to keep an eye on them also, so make sure they don't tank. But at the same time, it's only a couple fixes. I mean, it's the NFL. It's a couple fixes, and you're right back in it. So the Caleb Williams thing of not wanting to go to, like, unless you got another avenue or whatever, you go to who you pick. You just go. You know, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's dollar signs. That's what it is. You know, it comes down to dollar signs. And if they throw enough at Caleb Williams, he don't care if he goes to the Cardinals, right? Coming out of college, he can always leave.
Guys, look at Elway. What's his way? Eli.
Eli Manning.
I mean, guys, they've kind of picked who they wanted sometimes. I'm just saying, I could see him sitting another year. They're making so much money. They make $5 or $6 million. That's why you don't even have to get out of college. And college is pretty fun.
Yeah,
from what I remember. right, T-Sis?
Will he get Travers a job where he goes? Will Travers move on?
Ooh, good question.
He's very high on Randy. Randy did a lot for that kid. You know, Randy's done a lot for a lot of kids. You don't have to be a fan of Randy to know that he really was a good coach and he cared about the kids and he's a winning coach. So, hey, this is pretty cool. Check this out. Ian said American Mason Cox, he plays for a team called Collingwood. in the American or Australian rules football, and they're in the grand final this weekend in Australia. So it sounds like that's their version of the Super Bowl over there. So best to Mason Cox. Hopefully his squad can pull it off. Ian must be a Collingwood fan, I'm going to guess. So that's kind of cool information. Thanks for sharing that with us. Josh Dobbs, though, guys. Josh Dobbs, Steeler backup, came from Tennessee. He's hanging around the league because he's smart, because he understands. He's their quarterback. I think I said to you guys months ago that I would have been happy as hell if the Steelers would have gotten rid of Mason and Trubisky and just brought Dobbs in as the number 2. I think Dobbs would be a bigger help to that kid Pickett than either of these guys are right now, because neither of these guys were ultra successful. Ben didn't develop Mason very much. He even flat out said that. And Trubisky, although he had some success in Chicago, he really was never a stud quarterback. He never had that it factor about him. And I do think that's something Pickett misses. So Dobbs could.
I think he
also said he wished Pickett didn't succeed at first. What the hell is that? What's that about? Like Eric Dickerson, I want my records. Just like your records.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, Cowboys 30, Jets 10. A lot of praise for the Jets when they had Aaron Rodgers. Now they're singing the blues up in New York because they got to play Zach Wilson. And Zach looked like Zach, to be honest with you. But they still have a pretty stout defense. But the Cowboys look really strong this year, early out of the gates. They have a top 5 defense, if not a top 2 defense, top 3 defense. Dak has not. I hope I don't jinx this for you, Jay, if you're still listening. But Dak has not thrown an INT yet.
You jinxed them.
Yeah,
definitely.
So
I think he hasn't had to really throw an interception yet. I mean, they jumped on the Giants the first game. They jumped on the Jets the second game. So he hasn't really had to do much. I mean,
true.
Really, he just managed the game at this for the first 2. Now, who do they play next week?
Who do
they play next?
Credit to McCarthy for running the ball. Yeah, Tony Pollard. They had 44 carries on the ground this week, Jay said. 44 carries on the ground. Tony Pollard's legit, man. That was good moving away from Zeke. I agreed with that move. I really agreed with that move.
Dallas plays Carolina. I'm sorry, Cardinals.
See, so you got another week. So you got another week where you won't have to throw interceptions.
Right.
So right now you got 3 games in a row where you haven't had to do much. So let's see. I'm waiting for the game when the pressure is on, and you got to now perform. What happens? That's what I want to see.
At the end of the day, for the Cowboys' sake, I hope he has learned to manage the ball a little bit better. Jay says it's West Coast offense, Dak.
Coach, put that on your schedule. Week 5, they play San Fran.
There you go.
Ooh.
And you'll know.
Circle it.
8:20.
Yeah.
8:20.
And you'll know. You'll know what Dak is all about.
You'll get about 40 minutes in before it's night time.
Thank you. But you know what I do is I catch it. So you guys don't know my secret. I get up at 4:30 in the morning. I catch it on the NFL Network, right where I left off. It's on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you can have that secret. I'm not getting up 4:30.
4:30. Seriously. I remember the days when I was coming in at 4:30.
Yeah. I get up to work out.
You think the Jets will go out and get somebody? I mean, there's not a lot that they can go out and
There's
get
not a
unless
lot.
they trade. Unless they trade.
You got Wentz. He's still out there.
Ugh.
I said somebody.
That's what I'm saying. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
I think you're stuck.
Wentz gone.
You're stuck.
Yeah. I might bring in Foles, personally.
He retired, didn't he?
Huh?
Didn't he retire?
He cannot retire.
Money talks.
Matt Ryan said he's not officially retired. You want to bring in Matt Ryan?
I think you got a better shot with him than you do with Wilson.
Yeah, but that offensive line is so bad. You need somebody that can move.
That's true too. Oof.
We said that was going to be an issue with Rodgers.
Yes.
We did our preseason.
Yeah, we did.
Together.
Yeah, we did.
Called that one.
That's what exactly.
I guess they're going to look ahead to next year. The Jets. If they're going to ride with Wilson, they're going to be looking ahead to next year. Unless, of course, they play Pittsburgh, then Wilson will come out and look like an All-Pro.
Yeah,
but,
probably. We made
Commanders and Broncos.
We don't like to show
Commanders, since they've been sold, are 2-0 to start the season.
Uh-huh.
All right. They put 33 points on the board.
Sam Howell.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
Back on that bandwagon. Noobs came into work. Yeah. I think it was Monday. Was it Monday, Noobs? He had his Commanders shirt on, baby. I said, what is that? But
you got identity crisis.
He said, I'm back.
Look, Howell's playing good football. They're getting what they need out of Brian Robinson. They, at the end of the day, Bieniemy is Bieniemy. Maybe he was the guy. Maybe he was the straw that started the drink in Kansas City, at least to a certain degree, because we know Big Andy definitely is the mastermind. But
or as I always say, he was there. There's no reason. I'm sure he learned. You learn by he was there for how many years with the guy? He learned. He's calling a heck of a game. I've watched.
He really is.
Yes,
Bieniemy's the real deal. And the best part is, I'm hopeful that Rivera will be gone at the end of the year, and then Bieniemy can take over. I would love to see him as the head coach. He really is offensively.
Will that play calling go down? Will he relinquish that job, or will he keep the play calling?
I mean, he could probably bring in some, smart young guy that he likes, that thinks like he does, and he can still make the calls the way Reed did, and just have someone that helps him give suggestions.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the victory, but what the hell, Mary, and then the pass interference that was not called in the end zone. You calling that?
No, that wasn't interference.
What?
Did they?
All right, we're wrapping up the show on that one, everybody. No.
Hey, listen. As far as the Commanders thing goes, for me personally, it worked. What I did worked. I got rid of Dan Snyder. Right? Stop supporting the Commanders, and enough people did that. Actually, to truth be told, no one was going to their games. No one was buying their gear. We as fan base forced that asshole to leave. We did it.
We did it.
We did.
So we get you guys to rally with us in Pittsburgh.
Is that how we get rid of nutting? That's what I'm saying. Damn it. I gotta get pirate stuff.
Brutal.
It's on eBay tonight if I can get rid of nutting.
Will Russ come back for Sean Payton next year?
I don't think they have a choice. He's making too much money.
Yeah, what's his contract?
I think he's making too much money.
But he sucks.
Statistically, he's actually doing well statistically, but he was not good in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Hey, look, they're 0-2, and this is what they have to face coming up in around mid-November. They got to play the Dolphins, the Chiefs twice, and then the Packers and Bills. That's pretty brutal. 5 games right there. That's a brutal stretch of games. And if they don't have some wins by, mid-October, if they've got 1 or 2 wins, they're going to be in the abyss, and they're going to have to redo that. Marvin Mims went off for them. Marvin Mims Jr. I knew that was going to happen. I had him on my damn team, and I cut him loose. I don't know why I cut him loose. I knew he was out there. I read about him. Went back, looked at some of his college tape. He's legit. They've got a nice receiving core there. They're still hurting at running back, though. I feel like they're not getting it done there. Defensively,
Russell Wilson was their.
Javonte Williams had almost 100 yards.
Yeah, but
are you sure?
What did Wilson do?
Russell Wilson is the leading rusher, 56 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
maybe that's what Javonte has on the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But still, at the end of the day, the Broncos gave up 33 points to the Commanders.
Right.
And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Commanders. What I'm saying is the Broncos gave up 33 points to them. That's all. It's interesting to me. Miami is red hot, guys, and they made New England 0-2 to start the season. Have we seen the last of Belichick magic? Is he not able to cheat anymore to get some of these wins? What's going on there?
Well, I think from what I think he might have made a call to Tom Brady. I'm not sure, but I think he might have made a call. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, he came in and rang the bell. When they got their bell rung.
Yeah.
He was trying to call Paul Revere.
Yeah. And
The Dolphins are coming. The Dolphins.
One if by land, two if by air, and you can't stop Waddle and Tyreek.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup for him. That's tough.
Very tough.
Who do you double cover? Who do you double cover?
They slowed him down. I mean, they only allowed 250 yards passing, but Mostert had 121 yards rushing. So,
and that's
you got to pick your poison.
Yeah, and that's Belichick's philosophy is I'm going to take something away, and you got to beat me the other way. And that's kind of what he was doing. But he got, the other thing won, which was the running game. So
they're in bad shape too. Listen, their next two games are well, maybe not the Jets and Cowboys, but they play them both away. And this team could be 0-4 before you know it, New England. And I would feel so bad.
New England Cowboys game could be interesting because because Belichick has the ability to force you to do things sometimes that you don't want to do. And again, he might be able to sit there and confuse Prescott a little bit, especially in the secondary. I can see him doing that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's still a mastermind on defense.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He's still a mastermind.
How long are they going to stick with Mac Jones? He's not doing squat.
He was willing to cut loose Bailey Zapp and then bring him back. Who else they have there as a backup? Somebody
Cunningham.
I can't believe they brought Randall Cunningham out of retire to be a backup there. But I don't know. And he brought Bill O'Brien back because he loved what he did with Mac Jones down in Alabama. And he did well in New England for him. But it's just not getting done for them right now. They're going to have to figure something out. They don't even have a stable of receiver. I mean, Juju's their top receiver.
Yeah, and that's the other issue, really. I mean, you still don't have receivers. Well,
he's mentally Belichick's living that Brady thing where Brady would make somebody into something.
Sure.
We don't have to like Brady, but he was a hell of a football player. Okay. And he would make somebody into something. How many players did he really play with that were stars coming in there? He was great at that. And I give him all the credit in the world. And in so many ways, Brady was the offensive coordinator and the head coach because he was such a fiery player. He'd get into your ass on the field, on the bench, and you either walk the walk or he would do something about it. He was so tight with Kraft. And that, that's just the way, that's the feel I get from what was going on in that situation. If Miami loses Tua, is that team going to be anywhere near what they are right now?
Who's the backup?
They're going to be through. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's the backup?
Is it Mike White?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? If he's not lost for the season, I think they could hold on. I think they could hold on if he's not lost for the season. Give him about 4 games or so, where if they lose him, I think they'll be fine. But if they lose him for the season, then that's a wrap.
Just dial back on the amount of times he runs the ball, and you're going to be okay.
He worked really hard on getting himself physically fit, like he said he worked a lot of neck exercises. He's like made it a point to address the concussion issue. And that's a pretty big deal. Like, I think that's a bigger deal than we give him credit for. I think I going into the season before I had read all that, I was kind of like, oh my God, he's done. Like he one hit and he'll be gone. But after seeing how he looked week 1 and this past week, I think he's going to make it through the season.
Time will tell. Hey, let's move on. Last 2 games. Saints 30, Carolina 17. Derek Carr is not the savior, but he's doing exactly what I thought he would do with the Raiders. And he's taking care of business here. In fact, they've got a hell of a trio of receivers there between Olave, Michael Thomas, and Shaheed. That trio there has really stepped up their game. And I did not realize this. Although Jimmy Graham is on that team, he's their third string tight end. But the thing that is most amazing to me about New Orleans is their defense again. They have a strong defense too, man. They're a top 10 defense, no question about it. What I don't like about New Orleans is they look like they wear spandex with those black pants that they wear and nothing on them. I hate those. I'm like, shit, black socks, black pants. You look like you're wearing spandex, guys. But and then on the other side of that, I mean, they are going to get, by the way, they're going to get Alvin Kamara back in 2 more games. But on the other side of that, Bryce Young, without pressure, he's fine. When he's got pressure, it's not getting done. He's not.
It's a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, and so I'm anything a rookie does at this point, you're looking to evaluate for the following year. Let's be real. And those are things that you can correct. So I think you have to be patient with him, and the offensive coordinator has to scheme a little bit to help him out. And I think he'll be fine. The kid's smart. The kid's competitive. I just think you have to put him in the situation right now to not have him overthinking things sometimes.
He's not very big though, Kevin.
Size don't matter to me. Heck, you can't touch the quarterback anyhow in this league.
That's a good thing, Kevin.
Yeah, you can't touch him. So that doesn't bother me. Yeah.
Well, it'll come to fruition quicker than you think, whether he's going to be the man or not, because he's the guy in there already. He's in the fire right now, and they're rebuilding.
And it's good for him to be in the fire, because then he can learn from all of that. And then next year will be the game will be so slow for him, he can start to then figure things out, and you'll know.
Yeah,
you'll know.
Yeah,
but he's throwing 0 picks.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, I think, for 2 weeks in a row, rookie. And like you said, the Saints defense is solid. He's obviously dinking and dunking. His average completion is 4.6 yards. So he's throwing all the short balls, but he's disciplined enough not to make the dumb mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, last game of the night. And I didn't save it to be the last game. It ended up like this. Pittsburgh 26, Cleveland 22. Cleveland dominated on both sides of the ball. I shared with you guys. What's that? Yo, is that you?
Yeah, that's me. It said Fire Canada.
Oh,
that's what it said. That's where I'm at.
He's trying to reach me through you. Hey,
look. Fire Canada. I'm done with that dude, man.
Hey, at the end of the day,
I'd be clicking all my buttons. I was like,
I know I'm screwing something up.
At the end of the day, I mean, Cleveland dominated on both sides of the ball. I sent you guys a clip on the 2-point conversion. James Daniels didn't even get out of his freaking stance, and he was driven 2 yards back into the backfield. You know, their grades were so bad. In fact, Dan Moore graded 3.5, not 35, 3.5. That's got to be the worst grade ever for an offensive lineman who played an entire game.
How do you calculate that?
I ain't even worried about the grades and all that. I know what my eyes saw, and it wasn't good, and it makes me concerned. Yeah, we won the game. Yeah, that's good, but
the defense won.
The defense won, absolutely, and they can't do that week in and week out. And then the next thing is like, when are we going to help pick it out? Where did this and I know we got on Roethlisberger for throwing the short pass. There was a reason why we did that. It was to protect the kid. But how about we do that with Pickett a little bit?
But you have an offensive coordinator who doesn't game plan.
Oh my God.
He puts his game plan, he puts his plays up on a wall and he throws darts at it. All right, we're running And he tells you what you're running. He does not game plan. They even said it. They said it on every any NFL show with the professionals said that this guy doesn't do. Shanahan's the total opposite of him. Shanahan finds the weakest guy, the weakest area, he attacks it. When they strengthen it, he finds out where they had to weaken up to strengthen that area, he attacks it. This guy, he throws darts at a play chart and says, this is what we're running. This is what we're running. It shows. There's no continuity. There's no design in what his game plan is.
Nothing.
It just shows nothing. He called a 3rd and 1 play with Kenny Pickett keeping the ball. Great. He's pulling the guard, kick out the tackle. The tackle comes upfield. The linebacker blitzes from the outside because he brings freaking motion, and he pulls the man into the box.
Yeah, which is crazy.
What's Pickett do, though? Pickett follows his block, tries to go outside of it, and he gets stopped for a 3-yard loss. He had a hole 20 feet wide. I could have crawled through it. I don't blame this on everybody as much as I put this on Pickett, too. He's got to be a smart football player. And I'm a big Pickett fan, okay? But he does not look like a smart football player. Because
I don't think he's confident in whatever's being called. I think that's also like let's put it this way: if you call a play and I'm not particularly agreeing with what you're calling, then your 100's not going to be there. You're already at 90.
It looked like he had no touch on a ball. He's holding that B button down or X button, whatever button. He's holding that down too hard. He had no touch on it. Guys are going across the middle, throwing it behind him, over their head. Like, it just looked odd. It was off. Something was not right the whole game.
They playing a 5-man front. We never adjusted to that at all. I'm like, when are we going to make some adjustments here?
I think he probably had the wrong gloves on.
Maybe his hand shrunk overnight. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of quarterbacks wearing gloves, man. Come on.
Listen, he's got to figure it out, or this team is a 500 team, and they're going to be looking at drafting somebody next year or the year after. That's just the bottom line with it. Just a couple of more things about this, then we'll move on.
I will say this, though. He's gone probably against probably two defenses that are probably in the top 4. I will say that.
At least the top 4, if not the top 2.
Yes, I will say that. Yeah. So, but at the same time, your OC's got to help you out.
And so does your O-line coach, and so does your head coach, and so does,
The Browns have the best edge defender in the NFL, don't they, Mark?
That'd be a no.
Don't go there. Do not go there.
That would be a no.
Do not go there. That guy
might have the number 1 and the number 2.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw the gas on the fire. Hey, listen, I sent you the numbers on those 2 guys. TJ Watt doubles him in terms of the games that they have played and every output. I don't know where people see all this freaking greatness from Myles Garrett. I've never seen it. I think it's a smile.
I think it's a smile. That's what it is.
I think he was hanging out with Ned.
He's got the tombstones for Halloween. Got the tombstones.
Yeah.
Hey, Nick Chubb went out with 64 yards. We're talking about all the Steeler offense woes. The defense won the game, no doubt about it. Nick Chubb went out with 64 yards, but that Ford kid, he picked up the load in 106 yards. And
he can't stop any. That defense can't stop anybody's running game right now.
Yeah.
No. And I think that's going to be an issue all year long.
Almost 200 yards rushing they gave up.
I mean, I have so much more to say about this, but we're almost an hour and a half into this, guys. It's unbelievable.
It's almost Waddy's bedtime. Let's go.
Listen, they ran a zone blocking scheme. They couldn't run the ball. They come out, they run more of a power scheme. What happens? They start running the ball with authority. It's just stupid. It's stupid what's going on there with that offense, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Sorry if I'm ranting here, everybody who's watching, but it's just insane to me. Hey, let's move on to this. Offensive player of the week. Who was your offensive player of the week, Terry?
It is Swift from
Eagles.
Yep.
He had
that was mine. Yep. 28 carries, 175 yards, and a touchdown. That was my guy. How about defensive player? It looks like we all agree on that one. How about defensive player of the week?
Highsmith.
I'm going Micah Parsons.
I'm going TJ Watt again. I'm going
Well,
TJ Watt again. So
let's say why. Then are we allowed to? Do we have
Yes,
time?
you give your stats. We'll give ours. Yeah.
So,
Go ahead.
so Highsmith, a pick 6. Then he caused the fumble at the end of the game for them to win. He had a sack and 7 tackles, and he's just awesome.
yeah,
That's legit.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Parsons because he had 2 sacks, 6 quarterback pressures, 3 TFLs, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery in the same play in which he almost scored a touchdown, but they called his knee down. If you look at his stats, he had a pressure on 50% of his pass rushes. That is absolutely insane. That's Lawrence Taylor like.
Yep, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I went with TJ Watt because if you don't scheme for that guy, he is going to beat you by himself. And he did things again against Cleveland that they had to scheme and have double teams on him pretty consistently, and that's what gave Alex Highsmith that other side. And that's the way it should be. If you start double teaming those guys, all hell's going to break loose.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then they had Herbig. I don't know if you guys saw the one. I think I sent the clip to you guys. One clip, Herbig was in there. He just pretty much demolished the guy in front of him.
That tight end?
Just demolished him. And you know, that Steeler outside linebacker group is a pretty special group.
They got 4 legit dudes, yeah.
Golden
They might want to put Herbig in the middle of the field because we were at some point last night. I don't know where our linebackers went. I'm just saying, you know,
Yeah.
They were missing in action.
They've got to fix that with the D line, though, Kevin.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I watched a couple of times. And, you know, you got the linebacker. He's standing right there, like, dude, you got to fill the hole. I mean, you can see it, but your feet ain't moving.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's do this.
He's real quick
ahead,
on
Mike.
Herbig. He's a Wisconsin guy. The Wisconsin fans love that guy, and they talked about how active he was. And the reason he dropped so far with the Steelers is because of his size. He's like an undersized guy. But that highlight was absolutely insane. He just picked, boom.
Yeah.
He plays much bigger than he is. And the Steelers trusted their eyes in the draft, and everyone else looked at the numbers.
Well, they like to keep it a family affair, too.
And his brother's there, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, let's pick this week's games. Thursday night, Giants in Frisco. Who you got, Terry?
Oh, Frisco. What the
Mike?
heck? Question?
Yeah. That's different.
Noob?
Yeah,
Or
easy.
Waddy?
Frisco.
Yep. We're Frisco all the way around the board.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
San Fran. Hey, Tennessee at Cleveland.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do I get my money back on this one? I'm going to have to go with Cleveland.
Terry says
I'll go Cleveland. I'll go Cleveland.
Waddy, Cleveland. Noobs?
I'm Tennessee.
I'm Tennessee, too. I think
You
it's
write
gonna
these
show up
down
in
because Watson's buying the first round. All right. Well.
I'll tell you what. Without Chubb, it's going to be a different it's a different game.
I'm telling you,
at Detroit.
The 4 picked up the load.
Yeah, he did.
Atlanta at Detroit.
Detroit.
Noobs?
I'll go Detroit.
Yeah. Clean sweep. I don't think that they will falter this week. I think
They're
we'll have
getting
them ready.
4. They're getting 4.
New Orleans at Green Bay.
New Orleans.
That's my pick. New Orleans.
I'll go with the Aints.
I'm going Green Bay. If they get a couple of these guys back healthy, I think it'll make a difference. Denver at Miami. I think we all know what we want.
Yeah. We're all Miami on that.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh,
that'll be the one that comes back to bite us. Chargers at Minnesota. 2 0-2 teams.
Wow.
Woo.
The Vikings are getting a point on this one.
That doesn't even. Oh gosh.
I'll go with the Vikings because it's at home. It's in the dome, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Chargers.
Okay.
Always got to be confident.
Yeah.
Nope.
I got Minnesota.
I'm going to align with. Well, shit. The Chargers defense is terrible. I am
They're
going to go
both
Minnesota.
terrible. They're both terrible.
Yeah.
So who has the ball last?
Jets. How about this?
Good
New
point.
England at the Jets.
Ooh.
New England.
New England.
I'm going to go Jets. Jets.
Yeah, that's where I'm headed to. Jets.
Jets are getting 2.
Here, Buffalo at Washington.
Buffalo. Commanders.
Although the Commanders' strength is Buffalo's weakness.
Yes, I'm going Commanders.
Okay.
What are you saying, Maradei?
I think I'm going to go Washington. I have a feeling.
Oh,
I
I'm
have
the
a feeling.
difference maker on that one. All right.
Hey, Houston at Jacksonville.
We're all Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Jags. Bunch of Jags.
Okay. All right. The Jags across the board. Indianapolis at Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. No doubt.
Oh, okay.
I'm going with hooks.
I'm going with Indy.
Hmm?
I just have a feeling about that one too. Yeah, you look at me like I'm crazy.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
Oh, God, look at
Carolina,
you. Oh.
Carolina at Seattle.
Who's the game?
Seattle.
Carolina at-
Seattle.
Oh, Seahawks. Yeah.
I'm going Seattle too.
Young, you got to get it together.
Chicago at KC. Is this even a question?
KC.
Casey.
Yeah.
Across the board. Dallas at Arizona. Is it even a question?
Dallas.
Dallas.
We're all Dallas.
That defense comes out flying like
They're
they-
playing Arizona State, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, it might as well be. Here you go, guys.
Josh Dobbs.
Pittsburgh at Vegas.
Oh,
8:30 Sunday night.
Again? Watson's going to see a half hour of the game.
He doesn't have to get up Monday.
I'll have to get up early, so I'll be okay.
Pittsburgh at Vegas.
Oh, my gosh. I tell you what, we have a losing record against the Raiders.
I already put down Vegas for me.
Yeah, we do. We have a losing record against we don't play well against them. Home, away, it doesn't matter. I think I'm going Vegas.
Josh McDaniel is the offensive coordinator there, or the head coach there.
Yeah, I'm going Vegas.
Yeah, me too.
I'll go with Pittsburgh.
I'm Pittsburgh.
Okay.
I'm
trying to. Hey, you know what? I'm using reverse psychology too. Last two games: Philly at Tampa. Philly special, everybody.
Philly.
Yeah. Yes.
Philly special, and Rams at Cincinnati.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I'll take LA.
Okay.
Wait, are they in LA? Yeah.
Yeah, LA Rams. Yep.
Is it what they're playing? So it's the Rams at Cincinnati?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Cincinnati.
Okay.
I want to say Cincinnati, but I don't know if Burrows is not, he's hobbling around and they may sit him. He's questionable.
I'm gonna go Cincy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What should we watch for week 3? I'm going to tell you what I'm watching for. I got two things. Cincy, will they start at 3-0? That's a big question mark. They will get buried in that division if they do. And
you mean 0-3. You mean 0-3.
0-3. I'm sorry. Did I say 3-0? Yeah, 0-3. And I'm looking for Anthony Richardson against Baltimore. I want to see how he plays against the real defense.
Mm-hmm.
He's cleared?
Yeah. Well, if he plays. How about that? If he plays.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's going to miss this week.
I think so too.
Yeah. That'd probably be the smart thing to do.
Minshew magic. Yeah.
I want to see if Kirk Cousins throws for 500 yards.
Oh, interesting. Watson, what do you want to see?
I want to see if the Commanders are for real.
Good call.
Because we're going to know. I want to see if they're for real.
I want to see 6:30 Friday night in the Valley, the Screaming Eagles versus the Northwest Jags.
King's Trophy is on the line.
It's on the line.
Hey, look, by 8 o'clock, you may not want to see that.
I'll be rolling home.
Go Jags.
Yeah.
Hey, on another positive note, the TJ Patriots are heading down to Bethesda to play the Walt Whitman, whatever the hell they're called.
Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah, that's right. Going for a 3-1 record for the first time, and I can't tell you how many years. So big shout out to my guys over at TJ and head coach Bo Traber. That kid is full of piss and vinegar, man. He's got great things happening there. Hint Watson, hint Watson. Yeah,
amazing.
Go ahead, give me your social media, guys. Start with Watson.
At Coach K Watt, Twitter.
Yes, sir.
One Young Terri, Twitter, Instagram.
There it is.
Starring at the University of Maryland on weekends.
Oh my, yeah.
I'm glad we don't have time to get into that shit.
That's
We got a live broadcast from there. Coach Noob, Twitter and Instagram.
Big shout out to Scotty's Vodka, right, Mike? Hey,
Yes.
shot not all right. All right.
Hey, you can check out our show anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on, as you see, YouTube, Facebook. We actually stream live on Twitter, and I believe we are on Roku too as well. Our webpage is podpage.com, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. Please check us out. We love when you hit us up and tell us what you think of the show. You can email us also at originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Thanks to Shawn Antkowiak for doing our voice intro, Charlie Hodgson for doing our music, my wonderful wife, Terri Maradei, for being our webmasters. Check us out in 2 weeks. Hopefully we will be live somewhere for the Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei and his Barbershop Crew. Everybody have a good night. See you soon.
Peace.